Hey guys, happy Valentine's Day. It's Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today we're going to take a look at player props for February 14th, 2022. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the hottest guys. Now our cheat sheets are going to have a lot more players on here, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of follow along in the video and do what I've been doing. So as always, we open up our NBA cheat sheets that are good for player props, sports betting, and daily fantasy information. And these are the main tabs we're looking at: our props, our prop DVP, and then our last 7. So our last 7, we're looking at points, rebounds, assists, and then our points, rebounds, and assists, and then projected minutes versus minutes last 7. I've narrowed this column down to 22 minutes and higher players. I don't want anyone under that number. And then I go over here to points, rebounds, and assists and sort it high to low, and then I can look across here and determine where the player pops or if they pop in all of them. And then we're going to look at the last 5 games. So I'm going to go over 5 or 6 players and show you the ones that are jumping out at me. So right off the bat, the guy that comes to the top of the list is Kevin Porter. He's projected at a 24.1 PRA. He's averaged 38 over the last 7 days, which is only 2 games, but his significant difference here that I'm looking at, so 0.9 and minus 1.8, so rebounds and assists, he's really not doing much other than his projection, but the majority of this number is coming off of his points prop. So he's projected about 14, and he's been putting up 28.5 over the last couple of games, so he's someone we want to take a look at. So we're going to go over here to Prize Picks, and his name is not Kevin, but it is Kevin. So we're going to look at Kevin Porter. We're going to pull it up here, take a look at his last 5 games. So he had a couple down games, so he's got 2 games where he basically exploded, and Houston needs all the help they can get, especially against Utah tonight. So the last 2 games, he has 57 points, 30 and 27, so I like his points prop to go over that. He's projected to play 31 minutes. He's been averaging 35.8 minutes, so that is a good one to attack. The second one is Siakam. Now, Siakam has been money for us, so I really like getting him involved, especially if you're doing a 5-leg card. Yeah, if I can spell his name. So Siakam, we're going to go ahead and take a look at him here. We're going to run across the board. He has a PRA differential of 10, and then looking at it, his points is where we see this jumping out. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at Siakam points. And you can see he's on a 5-0 overrun with 35, 30, 27, 24, and 33 over the last 5 games. So he's been doing really well. And then I like to look at his other props. So assists, kind of up and down. Rebounds, he's over in 4 of 5. PRA, I really like PRA because he grabs a lot of boards and scores a lot of points. So if he does better in one than the other, it kind of helps you get over this number. And he's been in the low 40s or higher in 4 of the last 5 games. So 35.5, I like his points prop, but I went PRA 35.5 on my card. I just liked it a little bit better. And then going down, CJ McCollum, looking at him, so points and rebounds, he's really popped. So let's take a look at him. He did not make my final 5-man card that I put in. And so let's take a look at him. So he's basically under. He did switch teams over to the Pelicans, and then he had the game where he exploded against the Spurs for 36 points. So he's popping, but I'd want to see a little bit more from him. Assist, I don't mind. He's got 5, 5, and 6 over the last 3 games, so that's something he's pretty consistent in. Rebounds, he's coming off of 11 and 7 over the last 2, so 18 rebounds. We only need 4.5. It's a tough rebounding matchup against Toronto, but one you can always take a look at. And like always, his points, if he goes over that, he usually goes over his fantasy score and his PRA number. So McCollum, someone to consider. He did not make my list. Going down, we got Julius Randle. So we can see here, he's kind of a little bit up everywhere, but points are his major one. We've had him in the last couple videos, and he's came through for us. So his points prop is up to 23.5. He's 5-0 on that number. His recent 5 games, he has 28, 28, 28, 30, and 32, so pretty consistent. Going up against OKC tonight, so we hope he can get over that number. And then looking at his other wins, I like his points prop over, but I went with his PRA. So pulling up here, rebounds. So I went with his points, rebounds, assists to have a little bit more flexibility. He's got games of 50, 51, and 55 in 3 of the last 5 games, and we only need to get over 40.5. So I really like that. So I went PRA over 40.5 on my 5-man card. And then going down, Garrison Matthews, he's a low usage player. I'm going to skip over him. Looking at Dejante Murray, his points are +6, his assists are +3, so we're going to take a look at him. Dejante is someone I want to look at across the board, so points over 22.5 is pretty solid. Zach LaVine's not playing tonight, so it's going to be the Dejante Murray and DeRozan show. Should go back and forth. He has 31 and 32 points over the last 2 games, so he's skying over this number recently, so we really like that. Assist, he's been over 3 of the last 4, but 10's a big number. If you like his assist, I wouldn't talk you out of it. I don't mind it. PRA, I don't mind that either. It's 40.5. It is kind of high, but he's got 50 and 57 the last 2 games, but he also has 2 games where he went under that, and Houston was a pretty soft matchup. He only ended up with 37, but on his, I think I went points prop on that, so don't mind him. Going down here, Harrison Barnes, let me see if he made my list. And I believe I did have a little Harrison Barnes on here. So we're looking across here. We got his points prop, huge +7, projected at 17, been averaging 24. And he has 3 games. So I love to see 3 games over the last week. Rebounds and assists, pretty consistent. So his basic one we're going to look for is points. So when we come up here and we pull up his points, it's 16.5. I believe it was 16 a minute ago, unless I'm losing my mind, but he's got 21, 30, 21, 24, and 25, so he's been pretty consistent for Sacramento, especially over the last 5 games, and these last 2 games is when they picked up all the new players, and he has 51 points across those 2, so I think 16.5 is a good number to go after tonight. Looking at his other stats here, his PRA, it's pretty similar to his points. If he goes over points, he usually goes over PRA. I don't mind his PRA at 25.5, that doesn't look too bad. Fantasy score of 30, also not too bad. So flipping down here, Giannis, I'm not really going to go into him. Everybody knows who he is. Klay Thompson jumps out, and I read an article this morning while I was drinking my coffee about he was getting hot. So let's take a look. His points props up to 18.5, and he's been over that in 3 of 4 games, and he's coming off of a 33-point game against the Lakers, so that's someone you can always consider. He did not make my cut. And then DeRozan, he's someone that you always got to consider, especially with Zach LaVine already ruled out tonight. DeRozan's stats are going to be pretty high. So 31.5 points, that seems ridiculous. But he's got 38, 35, 36, 38, and 45 over the last 5 games, just skying over that number. So he's someone that's consistent, and he's going to have to get some points in this game against San Antonio tonight. PRA just barely squeaking over, but he's also got a 5 over run. I prefer to stick with his points if you're going to go that route. And then the last guy we're going to go over, Vuk, not going to look at. Let's look at Fox. So he's got a +5 differential on points. And as always, you can look at the sheets. Find some games you like, put them in the chat. Love discussing them with everybody. Mondays are usually pretty busy for me at work, so I've been kind of running around getting caught up so I can get some more content out later this week. Fox points over in the last 4, 26, 27, 29, 27. Going up against Brooklyn, that's not terrible. But let me see here. Assist, okay. PRA, okay. Kind of up and down everywhere else. If you're going to go somewhere, Fox jumps out for points. So my 5-player card that I went with, I took Kevin Porter over 14.5 points, Pascal Siakam over 35.5 points, rebounds, and assists, Julius Randle over 40.5 points, rebounds, assists, Dejante Murray points over, and Harrison Barnes over. As always, feel free to check the cheat sheet out, find some games you really like. You can also sort by these other columns and get some more guys. And this is just a tool to help you narrow down the hundreds of players and props that you can look up to find the ones that have been hot recently and hitting quite a bit. So good luck, guys. Subscribe to the channel down below, and let's go make some money.